Well, welcome back to the Peter Beales demonstration gardens here at Attleborough in Norfolk. And we're going to give you a little guided tour here. We've done some specials on the roses, and now just going to run you through some of the other delights that they've got growing in these demonstration gardens, including some absolutely wonderful dahlias. These cactus varieties are now flowering really well, and the bees just making the most of that. Also got some beautiful cosmos growing here. Lovely variety of colour, and the foliage on cosmos is always such delight with that frond-like growth. These are beautiful autumn flowers to really extend the flowering periods in your garden. See what else they've got coming on here. Asters, one of my favourite autumn flowering splashes of colour, and this one absolutely stunning. Look at the flower, dense bracts all over this plant, fallen out slightly in the centre, but the size of it must be a good 7 to 8 feet across this clump. And again, more cosmos coming up. Planting this as an annual here in England on the side. Beautiful white with yellow centres. That's a cracking one. And then just to its side, just look at this with a pink detailing on the outer aspects. Cosmos is beautiful when you get right close up. Both the flowers, buds, but also the foliage. Just look at that. Lovely frond-like. Always reminds me of asparagus. So good for the insects, these plants, so if you can encourage and grow them in the garden. This hosta's giving a real splash of colour under this rose, even though the flower bracts are now finished on it. Variegation in size. This one's obviously growing very well in this position, with very little damage from slugs or snails. Leaves still looking really good towards the end of August. This late crocosmia is growing really nicely here in this border. Again, quite unusual to find one flowering this late in the season. They're usually done by late July, beginning of August, but this orange little flowered variety flowering very nicely here almost in September. This little sedum is, if anything, a little ahead of itself. Wouldn't normally expect this much colour on a sedum until into end of September or October. This one is red Collie, and it is popping here. Absolute mass of crimson buds. Slightly overgrown itself and falling forward, as you can see in the back there, but nonetheless beautiful for it. Lovely little sedum, giving a splash of colour here. These two verbenas are very different forms. This one is Homestead Purple, and next to it we've got a variegated variety in full flower, giving flower bracts up to around 1.5 foot in height. Very nice pair. I love the way they've used the grasses in amongst the roses. These borders are really nicely planted. This is Festuca glauca Elijah Blue, just giving a lovely lightness to the lawn edging under this variegated holly, under a planting of roses. Delightful. This rose arch still got some speckles of colour on it, but must have been spectacular earlier in the season. Now pruned quite hard back to keep the form along the laterals. It's going to be spectacular again. Probably not this season, but certainly next. This mixed planting, absolutely beautiful. Look at the size and form of these flowers. Lovely combination planting running into this tool. Absolutely wonderful. And one last rose to show you. This is Burgundy Ice. Really unusual flower form. Just look at the way those petals almost fold at the end and hold spikes almost. Geometric. And the colour as it fades to a paler cream outer with the dark, intense centres. Lovely little plant.